All right, we reached the self-indulgent portion of fine music. That's right. My turn. Episode 137. Man, I had a lot of fun today. A lot of fun today. We had some great variety, right? We went from the Lipker sisters to Sam Moore to Electric Frankenstein. Where can we go after that? I'll tell you where we can go. We can go to Ukraine. This is a band from Ukraine that I had never heard of before, but apparently they're the big stuff in Ukraine. And they've been making records for the past 16 years. Even longer if you count the time that this guy was making records before he made a record. Self-produced. Who am I talking about? Let's see if I can bring it up. They're called, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but it's Karfagen. Karfagen, that's Karfagen, which means Carthago. Now, there's another band called Carthago. Not to be confused with. They're a good band too. Talk about them in another episode, maybe. So, like I said, it's the brainchild of this guy named, here's his name, Anthony Kalugin. Again, I'm not sure how to say it. Kalugin. And he had a close friend, Sergei Kovalev. That's more of a standard Russian pronunciation, probably. And so he's like a keyboard guy, if I remember correctly. And his friend plays accordion. So that's an unusual thing. But what this band really is, they're completely quintessential prog. If you were looking for a blueprint or what progressive rock should sound like, Karfagen would fit the blueprint. They would. They're like classic progressive rock. So when I hit upon this on my YouTube algorithm, I hit upon one album in particular. It was like finding a diamond mine. They had so much more than just the one album. Yeah, this is pretty fine print here, but it's basically talking about everything up until the first record. He was studying architecture in the 90s, late 90s. He formed a band at school. That didn't really go anywhere, but he had, he kept the name. And let's get into the albums. Let me get this share stopped. Yeah, that's what I want to talk about. Because I really went crazy, okay? I bought every single album they made in the last 16 years because they are all phenomenal to me. Where do we begin? We begin with the first one, which is, I just passed it. Oh, see, I bought too many albums. There it is. The first album is called Continuum. And it has a very modest beginning in terms of prog, right? You have the two-part A Winter Tale, totaling about 10 minutes. Nothing earth-shaking there, except that this is just really well done. It has all the elements you expect in prog rock. If anything, I think I made a note that they sound kind of like some really big names in prog rock. They sound like Genesis, like Renaissance. Even a little bit of some yesy touches there in the keyboarding. It's like Rick Wakeman joined Genesis. So anybody who's a prog fan would know what I'm talking about.
Titles and songs are in English?
Yeah. There's a lot of European bands that are singing in English because they want to make it big.
Yeah, okay.
Worldwide. These are mainly instrumental, but he employs singers. There's a female singer he uses a lot. Let me get to another album of theirs. Oh God, how do you do this? There's so many. I'll have to go to the bottom just to be different. Let's see. Oh, come on, fingers. There we go. The second album is a double album. It's called The Space Between Us. And again, there's nothing here that's more than seven, everything's under 7 minutes. And these are just marvelous, especially when I discovered this one song called Kingfisher and Dragonflies. I go, oh, I'm sold. But it's kind of a pastoral, the short ones tend to be pastoral instrumentals, and the longer ones are the more developed prog rock songs. And much to my delight, on the next album, that's right, you guessed it, on 2010's Solitary Sandpiper Journey, there's Kingfisher and Dragonflies Part 2. Hey, all right. And here's where things really get down to it. Mystery, 22 minutes. Oh, it's very glorious. I'm glad that Anthony finally did it. 22 minutes. It's really a great journey. And Carpathians is a great journey too, at under 14 minutes. All right. Don't want to bore my colleagues too much, but I checked each one out first before I bought it. I had to be sure this is good. And he got more prolific in the 2010s. 2011, a lot of people think Lost Symphony is their greatest album. It is very good. It's got two 20-minute tracks, Journey Through the Looking Glass and Symphony of Sound. Oh, man, I'm just in prog heaven. 2013, I think, was their next album. I can find it here. There it is. Aleatorica. And this one, it dials it back a little bit. The longest is under 10 minutes. But again, they're not all the same. The albums are not all the same. They do have their own characteristics that set them apart from the other albums. It's like Anthony was looking for a particular theme and trying to make the music fit the theme. So this theme, I have no idea what it means, but it seems to be more majestic. You look at those titles: Mad Gods of Destiny, Gnome in a Bathroom. That's one of the short instrumentals. A Day Without Rain. Okay, so that's the idea there. Moving on to 2014, just 1 year later. There it is, Magician's Theater. So you see how he's going for themes. This one has, well, you can almost put it together as a suite. Magician's Theater, the overture. Then there's Magician's Spell at 21 minutes, and then Magician's Theater, the final finale, whatever. And they really work together, just like Figment of the Imagination and Figment of the Imagination 2 are really two lovely short ditties, for lack of a better term. So he's just very comfortable and very prolific. I believe the next one is 2015 or 2016. Well, there's 2016, Spectra, another double album. And this one seems to have some gods in it. So I guess that's the theme there. Spectra must mean something like that. That language. And I think just to finish off, we got 2017, Messages from Afar, First Contact. All right, you can tell there's something otherworldly there. Volcano Rabbit and the Frog. Yeah, he's not afraid of fantasy. And finally, in the 2020s, there's one from 2020 and one from 2022. Actually, 2019. I would be remiss not to mention this one, because this is the one that most of the critics think is its absolute best. Echoes from Within Dragon Island, and it is very good. It's got those lovely suites. It's got 3 suites that are like almost 20 minutes, and it's just glorious, absolutely glorious. And there's a single version of Dragon Island too, for those that prefer the music shorter. 2020, I know you're in here. There it is. Principles and Theory of Spectra. I guess he expanded on Spectra, right? It's like part 2 for Spectra. And then finally, the new one. This is the one that's getting all the press because of what's going on in Ukraine. 2022's Land of Green and Gold. And this one, much to my happy surprise, starts off with Kingfisher and Dragonflies Part 3. Yeah. Okay, so you got a trilogy. And so this one, the critics seem to say it's the loveliest thing he's ever done. And it is very pastoral, except for the ending. The ending is very jazzy. It's like a new direction. Like, wonder what the next album's going to be like. Yeah, makes you wonder. So that's just a long-winded way of saying I bought 15 albums. 15. I didn't even mention the live album. I think they're even better live than in the studio. Is that even possible?
Yeah.
Where's that live album? Yeah, Breaking Free Tour back in 2016. This is a phenomenal record. It's a live album, and it even has songs on it that are not on any of the other albums. Believe me, I looked. Stars of Cardiff Bay, 11 minutes. Oh, just so powerful, so powerful. And Isolation, another 10-minute. Oh, man, these are just glorious. So I got to stop sharing, just to stop me. So if you like progressive rock, you're going to love Karfagen. And I'm just so glad that I discovered them. It was just a great way to throw my money in the Ukrainian direction.
I think I'm going to add Gnome in the Bathroom to my list of available band names.
Gnome in the Bathroom.
Gnome in the
But
Bathroom.
yeah, some people name their bands after a song from their favorite band.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so there you go. Thank you for listening, everybody. Catch you next week.